media briefing as the FCT Commissioner of Police, where he also warned individuals with criminal tendencies to leave the territory or face the full wrath of the law.
Ahmed Mohamed Sanusi took over as a Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory Command, from Mila Dentawayi, who has been promoted to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police and redeployed by the Inspector General of Police to another strategic assignment. A PhD holder and seasoned police officer with decades of meritorious service and extensive professional experience, Sanusi, during his first media briefing, said he is committed to ensuring that residents and visitors in the FCT can sleep with both eyes closed.
Crime does not thrive where I serve. During my tenure, crime will have no place in the FCT. Under my leadership, the command will be proactive, intelligence-driven, professional and relentless in its operation. We shall leave no stone unturned in ensuring that criminal elements are identified, pursued, and flushed out of the FCT.
He warned individuals with criminal tendencies to relocate or face the full weight of the law.
To those who have chosen the path of criminality, be advised that the Federal Capital Territory is no longer a safe haven for you. You are strongly warned to desist from all forms of unlawful activities, pack up and exit the FCT, or be prepared to face the full weight and relentless arms of the law. The command will not relent until every criminal element is brought to justice.
Sanusi also pledged to expand the policing network to cover local communities across the Federal Capital Territory.
My objective is not only to respond to crime, but to deter and prevent it before it occurs. To the officers and men of the FCT Police Command, I make it clear that no form of indiscipline or unprofessional conduct will be tolerated. All personnel must remain civil in their interactions with members of the public and uphold the highest standards of professionalism in the discharge of their duties. I am fully committed to working around the clock, and I expect the same level of dedication from all personnel.
Prior to his appointment as Commissioner of Police FCT Command, he served as the commander of the Nigerian Police Force Intelligence Response Team. Has Kogi, AIT News, Abuja.
Now, civil society organizations in Nigeria have convened a high-level meeting to examine the proposed establishment of state police, focusing on its implications and the path forward. The meeting, organized by Clean Foundation, brought together policy experts, stakeholders, and development partners to deliberate on the growing calls for decentralized policing amid rising security challenges across the country.
As Nigeria grapples with rising insecurity, calls for decentralized policing continue to grow louder, with the federal government signaling a decisive shift toward the establishment of state police. Against this backdrop, civil society organizations are convening a high-level expert roundtable to critically examine the implications of state policing in the country, ensuring that the conversation goes beyond policy announcements to practical and accountable implementation.
If we leave the literature taught to those who don't have the expert knowledge, opportunities are there that will have an ethnic police eventually. So for us, it is to be able to design some sort of technical support system to the implementation committee and to the entire system, so that we can have a police that is inoculated away from what we have seen that has affected the federal police.
Speakers at the forum emphasized the need for clear legal frameworks, strong oversight mechanisms, and inclusive stakeholder engagement to ensure that state policing serves the interests of all Nigerians.
A lot of people are not comfortable with what the governors are doing with institutions in the subnationals. There has to be safeguards in terms of how to be able to take away state policing and state police away from that executive interference.
The whole debate about state police and arrive at some kind of suggestion to the National Assembly in ensuring that we do not multiply the problem of Nigeria police to 36 or 37 jurisdictions.
The meeting concluded with the consensus that while state police may offer a strategic solution to Nigeria's security challenges, its implementation must be carefully structured to promote transparency, accountability, and the national unity.
Now, the leadership of trade unions in Nigeria have been cautioned against abuse of approved constitution for their seamless operations in service to their members' welfare and development. The warning was laid down by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohammed Dangyadi, at the presentation of certificates of registration to newly recognized and registered unions. The minister, who was represented by the Registrar of Trade Unions, Shaibu Rabiu, threatened the trade unions of an immediate withdrawal of certificates of registration should there be any report of misuse of privileges and abuse of approved terms of registration. Officials of the newly recognized unions assured the minister of their determination to promote and protect the welfare of their members, integrity of the union, and contribute meaningfully to economic development. The newly recognized and registered union is the National Association of Ambulances and Health Operations of Nigeria. Now, Nasarawa Police Command has confirmed that 3 bodies have been recovered from the scene of escalated violence in Aso Maraba community in Nasarawa State. According to the Public Relations Officer, Nasarawa State Police Command and Nasel Raham, violence clash occurred when residents confronted some Fulani herders who encroached into their mango farm to feed his animals. According to the police, the disagreements escalated into an altercation leading to violence that claims the lives of 3 persons and several houses destroyed. The police said some suspects have been arrested while investigation is ongoing. And this is Abuja Reports, reaching you live from Akwademayo Studios in Nasokoro. Here's a reminder of our top stories. New FCT Commissioner of Police Hamid Sanusi assumed office, vows to adopt intelligence-driven policing strategies to ensure peaceful environment for residents. 3 persons dead, several houses destroyed as herders and farmers clash in Aso district of Nasarawa State. Global funding withdrawal threatens healthcare financing in Nigeria.
Don't let anything stop you from being active. That's when a severe headache strikes, I always trust Sudrex Extra. If muscle pain acts fast.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Abuja Report on AIT. Now, across most developed countries, including Nigeria, recent donor budget cuts and a pause in fundings have led to sudden declines in available financing for the healthcare systems of the affected countries. A non-governmental organization resolved to save lives told a forum on surveillance and laboratory landscape and financing priorities in Abuja that such donor funding reductions have equally disrupted routine preventive maintenance, collaboration and servicing of critical laboratory and surveillance equipment across Nigeria's public health system.
Health experts and critical stakeholders in the global health sector have consistently maintained that donor budget code for health financing, particularly for HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria, risks reversing decades of progress, causing millions of preventable deaths. According to them, the court disrupt critical services, create medication shortages, and force health facility closures in over 25% of low-income countries.
One important thing to also note is sustainability at the heart of everything. We cannot continue to outsource our health. Whatever it is, it's like mortgaging our lives and giving our children and our own health to other people to sort out for us. If you deal with health, if we as a country prioritize the health sector, all other areas of all other development infrastructure, all of those things, they are important, but they will be improved upon as well.
Recent reductions in donor funding have led to significant losses across the public health workforce, hence the need for increased domestic funding.
The money that is being appropriated, what proportion of it actually come into the health sector, and what proportion of it is even used for what was intended for? For me, it's a very good thing that donors are going. Let us start looking inward. What can we achieve as a nation?
Health is a business for all, and if you are safe and your neighbor is not safe, you are still not safe. So we encourage other states to bring out their own blueprints and look at areas where they can sustain themselves.
They call for improved efficiency by reducing existing silos that have emerged from programmatic funding and by promoting more integrated, efficient, and sustainable implementation of surveillance laboratory. Dimas Nanzung, AIT News, Abuja.
Nigeria is set to take a major step in the fight against HIV/AIDS as the federal government announces plans to roll out a new long-acting prevention injection aimed at reducing new infections and improving treatment.
Known as lenacapavir, is a breakthrough in HIV prevention. Unlike existing daily oral medications, it is administered just once every 6 months, offering a more convenient option, especially for high-risk populations who struggle with adherence. Speaking in Abuja, the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Isaac Salako, said the initiative reflects Nigerian commitment to ending HIV/AIDS as public health threat by the year 2030. According to him, the government remains committed to a comprehensive approach that prioritizes prevention, treatment, and care services across the country. Nigeria has been selected by the Global Fund as one of the 9 early adopter countries for the rollout of the injectable drug, with implementation initially expected to have begun in January 2026. At first, 52,000 doses have already been arrived in Nigeria, while nearly 180,000 doses are projected to arrive by 2028. The first phase would cover 8 states, including Anambra, Ebonyi, Kwara, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, and Benue State, as well as the Federal Capital Territory. If successfully implemented and expanded nationwide, experts say the new injectable prevention could play a critical role in reducing new infections and moving Nigeria closer to his goal of 0 new HIV cases by 2030. Ogie Ihimekmen, AIT News, Abuja.
Hunger and frustration is evident among residents of Kogi, the Kogi state capital, over the rising cost of transportation and food. The new trend of inflation is coming on the back of weeks of fuel price increases linked to tensions in the Middle East. The situation, they say, is placing severe strain on households' incomes.
For many residents in Lokoja, the lingering hike in fuel prices has made daily living increasingly difficult. They say petrol now sells between 1,300 and 1,400 per litre at various filling stations depending on the location. The sharp increase has driven up transportation fares, forcing some commuters to cut down on travel or abandon trips altogether. As transportation costs rise, so too do food prices in local markets, creating a ripple effect that is hitting both traders and consumers.
Before, the meat would have got at the range of 500,000 naira per cow, have gone to 1.2 million, 1.5 million per cow.
When they go to school, where they pay transport, they go with them 200. Now 1,000 for transport.
Many residents believe that the introduction of affordable intracity bus services could ease movement within the city and reduce the financial burden on households.
This one, as if it cost now, people from Barak, from Aganaja from here go now 500. If you don't drop, for where you go drop, to enter house in 300, carry you go there, 300, 400. But by now, they're not a key come buy load for market again. Anyone where they see for village, they buy that thing like that. Who hold them market? Now sleep, they sleep.
Even if it's just 2 buses, let these buses be subsidized so that people, our market women, our students will be able to move from one area to another and see at a reduced cost. We are at the mercy of private sector keke napep and okada. It's not working. A state capital cannot be run on keke napep and okada. We don't have taxis, we don't have buses.
With livelihoods increasingly under pressure, residents are calling on authorities to urgently address the fuel crisis and provide relief measures to cushion the impact on ordinary citizens. Tehumba Akaya, AIT News, Lokoja.
Now, Nigeria's foreign exchange market may be heading for greater transparency as the Central Bank of Nigeria rolls out fresh directives for international money transfer operators. The move, according to the Apex Bank, is part of broader efforts to improve efficiency and restore confidence in the FX ecosystem. With remittances playing a critical role in Nigeria's economy, the Apex Bank is tightening regulations to ensure better pricing, accountability, and increased participation in the official market. The Central Bank of Nigeria directed international money transfer operators to channel foreign exchange proceeds through authorized dealers and other approved participants, including Bureau de Change operators. As part of the new guidelines, the Apex Bank also instructed INTOs and to align their pricing with real-time market rates available on Bloomberg's B-Match platform. According to the CBN, operators are expected to use the platform as a benchmark in determining exchange rates for transactions involving customers and authorized dealers. The bank says the directive is designed to enhance price discovery, reduce information asymmetry, and deepen participation in the official foreign exchange market. The regulator further emphasized the need for strict compliance with anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism regulations, while ensuring proper record-keeping for audit and regulatory purposes. It added that the directive forms part of ongoing reforms to strengthen Nigeria's remittance framework following revised guidelines issued in January 2024. Nigeria's electoral body has unveiled an updated national voter education manual aimed at boosting citizens' participation and rebuilding trust in the democratic process. The review comes at a critical point in Nigeria's democratic journey as the electoral system continues to evolve under the new legal frameworks. According to the team lead of Kimpak's Development Initiative, Bukola Idowu, the move follows growing concerns over declining voter turnout in recent elections, attributed to gaps in awareness, trust, and engagement among citizens. The updated manual is designed to be more practical, accessible, and responsive, particularly to young Nigerians who make up a significant portion of the electorate.
The development of the youth-friendly version is particularly important by leveraging the young people. This initiative places young people at the center of democratic participation, not just as voters, but also as educators, advocates, and change agents within their community.
Stakeholders say renewed investment in civic and voter education is key to reversing the trend and strengthening confidence in democratic institutions.
It seems the concern with the decreasing citizen participation in the country's election was what prompted KDI to collaborate with INEC to produce a manual that will not only encourage Nigerians to come out and vote, but also to teach them how to vote.
Today's launch of the voter education manual, months ahead of the election, confirms the very important fact that elections are not events that begin and end on the day of polling.
As the manual is unveiled, stakeholders are calling for collective commitment to ensure it informs, inspires, and empowers Nigerians to participate actively in shaping the nation's democracy. Oyebimpe Wealth, AIT News, Abuja. Now, protesters under the banner of Concerned Citizens for Change converged at the headquarters of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control in Abuja calling for the suspension of the purported enforcement of a ban on sachet alcoholic beverages, describing the move as ill-timed. Addressing journalists during the protest, the group's director, Kingsley Nwaize, noted that the enforcement contradicts the national alcohol policy approved by the Federal Ministry of Health.
Steering unprecedented unrest, considering this timing, we makes it counterproductive to the economic policy of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. The profitable operation of these companies has been hampered, thereby casting the government in a bad light.
Jobs disrupt livelihoods across the value chain and create room for illicit, unregulated and smuggled alcohol products to dominate the market, thereby reducing government revenue. The Federal High Court in Abuja has issued an order for the final forfeiture of $13 million claimed by Ocean Gate Engineering Oil and Gas Limited, a firm being associated with businesswoman Aisha Achimogo. The trial judge, Justice Emeka Nwet, in a ruling granted a motion by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for the final forfeiture of the money to the federal government. The trial judge held that neither the Ocean Gate Engineering nor Aisha Achimogo was able to prove to the court that the money was legitimately earned. Justice Nwet also held that the contention by Ocean Gate Engineering's lawyers, Darlington Ozurumba, that the money was derived came from gifts to Achimogo and earnings from gas and oil-related contracts could not be sustained by credible evidence. Justice Nwet rejected Ozurumba's argument that the court lacked a jurisdiction to have granted the August 22, 2025 interim forfeiture, while the court set as a vacation court, upholding the submission of EFCC lawyer Rotimi Oyedepo-San that relevant laws, including other of the Federal High Court's rules, Section 17 of the Advanced Fee Fraud Act 2006, and others were complied in the granting the order. And that's Abuja Reports on AIT. I am Oyebimpe Wealth. Thanks for staying with us.